This is the 15 pieces of power content exercise, and I wanted to walk you through it since me and Tina were here, and we could just discuss how it actually works, better than just having words on a Google document. Because you can have the step-by-step process, but I think it's better if we all talk through it so you can actually see what it actually is in practice. And so what is power content? Well, power content is educational content about what you do. In each subject or in each video or in each post, you're going to teach your audience one skill or give your audience one aha moment that moves them forward. When I say your audience, I'm going to highlight this. I think I'm going to call this your audience of ideal clients. Just to clarify, because your audience isn't everybody who's on Facebook. Your audience isn't everybody who sees your leaflets or videos and stuff like that. You want to speak to a very specific kind of person. Someone who is about to move or considering to move and going to sell their home in the process. Or you might know better than me explaining who your audience is, but you want to narrow down because there's a difference between the people you send your message out to and the people that your message is meant for. That's been a truth of marketing and advertising for yonks. Just reminding you of that one. And so you want to give them one skill or one aha moment because that's giving value to people in the videos. So this type of content will in time make you an absolute authority because you're sharing these skills and aha moments. First of all, people are going to realize you understand perfectly what you're doing. You're an amazing estate agent, for example, if you're teaching people how they can be better sellers and sell their property. And I bet, as an estate agent, you can provide proof that what you're talking about works just from what you've been doing over time. And if you have none, because nobody's allowing you to, if you're worried that people won't let you use previous results to prove it, because I would absolutely do that. Next time someone works with you and you get, someone works with you, ask them, can I use this so I can show other people what I actually do works? More likely than not, they're going to say yes. Simply because first of all, that proves you're confident. If you're not asking them to just pay you money, if you're asking them if you can share what you're doing with other people, they can be pretty confident that you're going to do a good job. Because you're not going to show people a bad result, and why would you be asking to share people a bad result? So that's how you get that permission. You want to share that just so you can showcase that what you're teaching actually works. Get this. Your potential clients aren't just going to reach their goals just from a single lesson. So for those of you worried about teaching someone, for example, how to list a property on Rightmove and worried that they're just going to run away and list the property on Rightmove and get the property sold, yay, hooray! It's not going to happen from just a single lesson. It's not going to happen. Someone's not going to learn how to sell their house from a 3 to 5 minute video. What they will see is that you know how to sell a house and you're sharing this information, proving to them that you're a great estate agent. And get this, the longer they watch this particular 3 to 5 minute video, they become part of a warm audience. Imagine that every person who watches this video where you're teaching them how to do XYZ, proving that your knowledge, someone who's about to sell their home, or you showing them how to actually, you've got 3 to 5 minute video showing them how they can stage their property for the best results, or how you would actually negotiate to buyers, or how you would bring the most buyers in. So you're showing them this. They're interested because at the beginning you told them this is how you're actually going to sell your house better. The moment they watch about a minute into this video, or 25%, they become a retargeting lead of yours. And that's the basis of these ads. That's the reason why, spending £5 a day, we can get actual leads in to retarget for like 40 pence each. That's what we're doing with estate agents. And estate agents can do the same thing with their local area, people looking to sell their property. And if you are an estate agency service provider, then the problem you solved, obviously it depends on your product. You're going to show them how it works, you're going to show them the problems that you're solving, but you can do the exact same thing. So let's get started with the exercise, because I want to show you how you can create 15 pieces of this power content in about 5 minutes, really. And I'm just going to walk you through it with Tina here, and we're going to do it for hours. So let's get started. First, you want to identify the problem that you're going to solve for your clients, or your product, or your service. In our case, we're helping estate agents convert the leads that they are already paying for into listings. I'm going to add that at the end. Tell us a Saturday. For estate agents, the problem you solve is likely to be selling their property, getting a good result, whatever that means in your words. Get it in your words. And for example, estate agency service providers, like I mentioned before, depending on your product, is going to be different. You might be reducing fall-through rate, you might be making it easier for estate agents to work, you might reduce the time that it actually takes to sell a property, but work out what the problem is that you're going to solve. So, our problem that we're going to base this example on. We help estate agents to convert the leads they're not already paying for and not getting listings from. Add the word from, and we're ready. So, power content comes from the process that you use in order to solve this problem for your clients. It's actually, by writing out this process into steps, you can cover each step in detail as a piece of power content, and quickly you have a ton of content that you can create that is perfect to attract your ideal clients. So the first actual step you need to do, we call it second, you need to divide your process into pillars. For example, to help estate agents convert more leads, we need to make sure estate agents are putting out the right content to attract their ideal clients, because that's, if you're not bringing in the right people, how are you actually going to turn them into listings? The second pillar would be starting conversations with every single lead that estate agents generate, because one of the biggest problems is that when leads come in, you only talk to a small amount of those leads, and other ones are just going to be busy, or you don't contact them, or they're not interested in your follow-up, and in that case you're going to lose a huge amount of your return on investment. And then pillar 3 is actually holding the conversations. I'd say pillar 3 is retargeting these leads and nurturing them until each homeowner, each seller decides to list their property, because that's big. You speak to a seller lead. You might speak to a seller lead today, and they might want to sell in 6 months, or they might be unsure, or they might want to sell tomorrow. But it depends. And if you're the estate agent who's in front of these leads, then you're going to win a chance to actually speak to all of them. And that. So let's call that our 3 pillars, and you would do the same for yours. Now, each pillar gets divided into 5 individual steps. So in pillar 1, we write out 5 steps that we take in order to make sure estate agents are putting out the right content to attract their ideal clients. And then each step in this exercise becomes a piece of power content. Now, the reason we divide the content into these different steps, into individual steps, is because of 2 things. First of all, your videos are going to be much clearer to your audience if you explain one subject at a time. It will teach your ideal clients at different stages of their journey. An estate agent, for an example for us, in our case, an estate agent who's bringing in low quality leads needs to learn a different skill to an estate agent who doesn't know how to start conversations with all of his new leads. Let me add all of. So that's why we have a piece of power content for each one. It appeals to different people in your area. You can have a piece of content for staging a property. You can have a piece of content for how you would market a property. I know, for example, that there are for the first day, there are property like listing launches. There's a particular word that some estate agents use. You could teach people how to do that. There's tons of ways you can actually create your own power content. And so, just to finish this off, I'm going to fill out how we would complete our own power content structure. I'm going to take the pillars from here, and then you and I, we're just going to finish this. Oh, wrong area. So I'm going to get these 3 pillars, and then we'll just write out the different steps. And then once you have this exercise, you can write out your own steps, and then you'll have your subjects or your power content already. So step 1, write out the 15 pieces of power content. So in fact, this is step 1 of pillar 1, which is quite exciting. Step 2, the power content framework, because each piece of power content we create has a particular framework. You have a headline, you have a promise of value. Headline and promise of value are really important because they get people to, watch your video all the way through, and it makes sure it's polarizing. So in the first three seconds, for example, we would call out UK estate agents, and in your case, you'd call out location homeowners, or location homeowners looking to sell. So it's polarizing. You call out the people you want the video to be for. And so there's a power content framework. And that would actually be step 3. I would want to teach you about headlines and promise of value. And then I would like to talk about value bombs. Value bombs are what we use for a call to action. It's how we actually bring people in from your videos, from your content. For example, lots of estate agents offer an instant valuation tool or a guide. The way I like to do call to actions is this. I tell people that I have a guide for a subject related to the video. For example, if I was sending this video to you as a piece of power content, I'd say, and as a thank you for watching this video, comment the word me below, and I will send you for free the step-by-step process to creating your own 15 pieces of content for a estate agency. And this would be the call to action. We get people to comment below the video. When they comment below, that creates more engagement. It gets more people to see your post if it's organic or even if it's paid. Because paying for ads just makes sure your post goes out to more people. And so that gets it more seen by more people. But every person who comments is a lead. That's how you can actually bring in leads, specific leads with content. And you post these videos out. And what you do is, with each comment, you say, I'm sending you a message in Facebook Messenger. You go to Facebook Messenger, and you don't give them the guide instantly, but you ask them what the problem is. You get permission to ask questions, and then you ask them what the problem is. There's a process. We call it the 2-step formula. Actually, the 2-step formula is what I would teach in Pillar 2, because it starts conversations. So the 2-step formula goes here. And so what would be the final thing to make sure estate agents are putting out the right content to attract their ideal clients? Oh, I would do the content variations exercise, because although you don't have each one of these pieces of content is actually just a subject. You can talk about, for example, writing out the 15 pieces of power content. That's like a subject. It's a how-to video, right? So there are actually different ways you can do content. So if I wanted to, for example, get more than 15 pieces of content, let's say I wanted 60 videos that I could show to you from just this exercise. If I, for example, said, this video starts as how to create your 15 pieces of power content for your estate agency. Well, I could go from a different angle. I could say why these 15 pieces of content actually resonate with your target audience or with your idea, with sellers. And so that's more of that's a different angle. And there's actually like 4 different ways you can create actionable content where people learn how to do it. You can create analytical content where you show people the actual results, the numbers of what you're doing. You can create, I believe it's called anthropological content. We tried to make it 4A's, but we need to actually define what the 4A's are and what they do entirely. But that's what the content variations exercise is all about. Turning 15 pieces of content into 60 plus. And that's pillar 1 done for us. And so you can see how it's keep going. And for example, pillar 3, let's start with building the warm audience, and then step 2 would actually be boosting power content, and it's boosting power content to the warm audience, and then there would be the £2 ads, and I teach you how to create £2 ads for the 2-step formula. I teach you how to actually 2-step formula, how to get comments into Facebook Messenger. Step 2 would be the 2-step formula to turn comments into leads. 2-step formula, how to hold a conversation with new comment leads. And then the next step would be how to get from that how to go from conversations to calls. And so you go da 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 blah blah blah, and you just fill out this exercise, and at the end you would have 15 pieces of content that are perfect for attracting your ideal clients. If you're an estate agent, that means actually bringing in, the people you want to actually work with, people who are interested in selling their property. You can actually educate these people on what it actually takes to sell a property properly, not like those people who think, oh, my house should be worth X and I'm not going to accept an offer above X and it needs to be listed for that amount, even though that's above the market value, and it's not going to attract anybody, and it's going to sit on the market for 6 months.
Sometimes more than 6 months.
Sometimes more than 6 months. But there you go. You're teaching at the same time that you're putting out these pieces of content. You've got a way to actually bring people in as leads from your content. And for example, you could put out one of these ads for £5 a day, just going out to people in your area. Anybody who watches 25% of one of these videos gets turned into an invisible lead. What an invisible lead does is you can retarget them on Facebook. We did the exact same thing. Over the past month, we actually spent a total of £300 before we got about, I believe it was 650 retargeting leads. We just had a retargeting audience of people interested in our content. And you could do that the same. You could start with a £5 ad. You could build an audience of people in your area who are interested in what you're teaching, and then reach them again and again and again with £2 ads in your ads manager, just going out to people. Or you could just use boosted posts. You put out a piece of content, you boost it to this warm audience who you know are interested in what you want or what you're showing them. You can stay in front of them again and again and again, boost it for £10 for 3 days, and you're going to stay in front of them until they sell their property. It's that simple. And that's where this power content can go. If you want to do the £5 ads, that would be to cold. You bring in these invisible leads that you want them to be 3 to 5 minutes long, and when you're retargeting people, you can use the same you can use the other 15 pieces, and you can just send that out to your warm audience, and that can be as long as you like. So I hope that helps you. Hope that helps you see what kind of content you can create. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what you do with it.